Hi, good evening. This is Elizabeth Griffin, your indie author from South Philadelphia, and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about something that is a little difficult to convey in a short video, but I'm going to try. I want to talk about allegorical storytelling. And I want to begin by saying an allegorical story is a story that is written where you can read it and get a literal meaning. And then if you look at it again, you can also see symbolism and a symbolic meaning in that same story. So depending on who's reading it, you can read it on one level and get the literal story, and then you can read it on another level and get a symbolic story. And there are several types of allegorical storytelling, and one would be using fables. And fables are stories that they use animals, they use inanimate objects, they use creatures, and all of this is used in a form to convey a moral to a story, or a lesson, a moral lesson in that story. And then what parables, and I'm remembering what my children told me, parables are a story earthly stories that have a heavenly meaning. And if you want to take it down a notch, you could say that they are stories that usually convey a moral lesson or a religious lesson. And an example of this would be the Good Samaritan. And that was a parable in which a traveler was journeying on a road, and he was robbed, beaten, and stripped of his clothes. And then a priest passed him, pardon me, let the noise go by. And then a priest passed him and ignored his injuries and left him on the road. And then a Levite also passed him and left him unattended. And then there was a Good Samaritan. I'm trying to remember the story. A Good Samaritan who passed him and assisted him in his injuries and took care of him. So that is a earthly story with a biblical or religious reference in it. And then the last is a metaphor, and a lot of people consider allegorical stories metaphors. And metaphor is a group of words that describe a noun or an object, or what else? A noun, an object, or an action. And usually what they'll do is they'll use a set of words to describe this noun, object, or action. But the words that they use will give you a comparison to that metaphor, or they'll give you an explanation. And an example of that would be, if you ever listen to Elvis Presley's songs, You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog. It's describing the man as though he were a hound dog, howling all the time or crying all the time. However, you know he's not a hound dog, he's a man. So you take two things that are dissimilar, but you use them in a way to compare or to explain an idea or a story. So that would be a metaphor. And the reason I'm talking about allegorical storytelling, I learned about it in creative writing. But you can take, let's say, a political situation going on in the world, and you can write it in a literal storytelling way where you just see the characters and you see the actions and things that are going on in the story. But then if you look at it on another level, you can see a symbolic meaning. And if you want to think about it, I believe Animal Farm, that is a story where the animals are uprising, and you can see it on the literal level, which is the animals talking and organizing, and you can also look at it on a higher level. I was told that it represented a political situation in Russia in the past. So that is an example of allegorical storytelling. So with this information, you can take political situations that are going on, or religious situations, or something that you want to talk about, a societal issue, and you can tell about it on a literal level, and then you can also create a symbolic second level where it has a hidden meaning in your story. And Dr. Seuss, who is a children's book writer and illustrator, he has a habit of using that form of storytelling. And he uses that form of storytelling to convey stories to young children. So I hope this video has been informative. I hope it has helped you. And as always, thank you for coming to my channel. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Love, peace, joy, happiness. Bye-bye.